Okay, since the wonderful lawsuit is acquired over the Eucharist, everybody's like, oh, I'm a cowardice bitch and yada, yada, yada. Okay, so let's discuss a certain aspect of different things. I knew when I filed and got the permit to do this Black Mass, the Catholic Church would start a fight. But they call it a spiritual war. It's more than a spiritual war. It's a media war. It's a physical war of my God's better than yours and my religion is better than yours. Bottom line is, I pretty much figured we were going into war, so I drew battle plans before we even did this, and as any good tactician will tell you, you draw your battle plans and you throw them out. But there still are things that you must take into consideration, and let's take that into consideration. We're talking about war. And there are things that have to be anticipated when you go to war. There has to be an anticipation of loss. There has to be an anticipation of collateral damage. There has to be anticipation of gain. And there has to be anticipation of what we call anticipated loss. In other words, you're going to have things you know you're going to lose. You're going to have things that you're going to use to bait the enemy, and you're going to lose it. The Eucharist is what we call an anticipated loss. There's going to be collateral damage. I knew there was going to be collateral damage. That's why I've left everybody else's names out of this. Because my reputation's already destroyed. My reputation is shit. And why not let the Catholics just destroy it some more? So it doesn't matter. We know the collateral damage. We changed the name of the church. Anticipation for collateral damage. Now, they sued me over the Eucharist. I lost the consecrated Eucharist. Anticipated loss. But with the anticipated loss, what did we gain? What was gained? Simple. Archbishop Coakley had to get the backing of the entire Roman Catholic Church to do this. He had to get special permission to do this. And by doing this lawsuit, he had to acknowledge the Dakhma of Angra Mainyu being a non-for-profit church. He had to acknowledge the fact that we were a real entity in a real organization. He had to acknowledge the fact that I was a minister. So even with the anticipated loss and goading the enemy, what else did we gain? We gained a large amount of publicity over a consecrated host. A very large. And I'm sure that that has been more than made up for any amount of advertising I could have ever done. And imagine how many television stations, newspapers, or anything else it would have cost me to put an ad out. And how many people would have ignored that ad? This is spiritual warfare. This is media warfare. This is my God's better than your God warfare. I'm in a war. So, to back up what I'm saying, they reported the lawsuit. There are other things they did not report. There are 3 other filements along with being sued. One is a judicial order that I had given by Judge Dixon. Judge Dixon ordered me to keep the Eucharistic host, the consecrated host, safe to where it could not be concealed, it could not leave the county of Oklahoma, it could not be damaged, destroyed, or consumed. Not only by me, but by any member of the Dakhma of Angra Mainyu, anybody within the control of Dakhma of Angra Mainyu, its employees, or anything else. So first off, I had a judicial order that I had to keep that thing safe. So at that point, the Eucharist, or the consecrated host, was legally not going to make it to the Black Mass, as anticipated. Okay? Makes sense? So, moving on. I also got an order of what they call request for order delivery of property. I had, per Judge Rhodes, 5 days to make a written response about the wafer. If I had not given a written response by 5 days, the sheriff's county was going to come and get it anyway. And if I did not hand it over, or I gave it to any of my people, or any of my people concealed it, consumed it, destroyed it, whatever, would have been charged with a misdemeanor. It's not a felony, but it's still a misdemeanor. And one of the main things we preach at this church is doing things within the confines of the law of the land. The law of the land stated that within 5 days, with a written order, I mean, I could have wrote it back and argued and fussed over it to no avail. So within 5 days, it would have been handed over to them anyway. The last piece of paper is the summons. It's not really a summons. It's a 20 days to give a written response to them. Over my response whether or not I had the consecrated hosts. What it really, to break it down basically, there's a lot of legal jargon in all this. So what it all boiled down to was, I had 5 days to make a response, or they were going to come get the Eucharist. I was already told by a judge that I couldn't desecrate it, destroy it, eat it, consume it, conceal it, or anything else, because it was a judicial order. So it was all by law. So either way, as anticipated, we were going to lose the Eucharist. I think it's funny, and everybody else in the satanic community, instead of talking shit, should be laughing at the fact that the Catholic Church was forced to go through judicial means to take back a cracker, a wafer, a piece of styrofoam. And of course I surrendered it to them. Of course I gave it to them. Why would I waste tens of thousands of dollars going to court over a wafer? When you actually read the ritual, and this is Anton LaVey's book, he wrote it, it's a copy written under him. Let's read it right here. What you need for the ritual. Let's see here. Here we go. The chalice containing the wine or liquor is placed between the altar's thighs. On it is the paten holding a round wafer of turnip or of coarse black bread. The turnip or coarse black bread is what the ritual calls for. The ritual does not call for consecrated host. We have coarse black bread. This is known as Black Forest bread, and we got it from a German baker here in Oklahoma City. Obviously, I don't want to get these people any bad publicity, so I'm not going to say their name. So that's the actual required host for the ritual. So now, the big controversy is Adam Daniels lying about having a consecrated host. Is it a fairy tale that it was mailed? Is it this? Is it that? I ask you, does it matter? Power of belief is a beautiful thing. It's also how the Catholic Church controls shit. And we're fronting it out and we're showing it right up in everybody's face. Archbishop Paul Coakley, the Roman Catholic Church, believed I had a consecrated host. He made the governor of Oklahoma believe I have a host. He made Judge Dixon believe I have a host. It's the power of belief. There's 3 people in this world who know whether or not I had a consecrated host. That's all I can tell you. This is an example, and a prime example of the power of belief. So I'm going to let you all rattle off, and I'm going to leave it up to you guys to decide whether or not I had a consecrated host. According to the Archbishop, I had one, and he got one back. But in return, what did I get? I got acknowledgement that we are a church. I got acknowledgement that I am a minister. I got acknowledgement that we have the Black Mass. I got acknowledgement all over the world, that Satanists are attacking Catholicism. Satanists are attacking their symbol of Christ. So I ask you as a Satanist, do you honestly believe because one of their goofy priests said a prayer over that cracker that it's really the body of Christ? I don't. But if you do, that's fine. That's why it's an anticipated loss. I don't care. They're the ones who cared. They cared too grievously to the point that they went out of their way to sue me, convince a judge that I had a consecrated host, retrieve the consecrated host from my attorney, and I kid you not, they went to the attorney's office with a lockbox and key, took it in the petri dish, taped up, and stuck it in a lockbox and carried it off. And a priest had to go get it. This is not a joke to them. This is hilarity to me. So I will leave it up to you guys to determine whether or not I had a consecrated host to begin with. It should be kind of obvious, since between me and my other clergy members, we said it was mailed from Africa, South America, Brazil, Turkey, God knows where else we've said, and have been saying for quite some time. But I'll let you guys figure that out. But do remember, the power of belief is a wonderful thing, and it can control a lot of people if the right person says it. Now, anticipation and the continuance of their wonderful fasting prayers is bullshit to St. Michael. We've acquired us a St. Michael. For those who know anything about this church, we have a habit of destroying spiritual entities we don't like. You see it in the destruction of Mithra. There's a destruction of Leviathan. Both of those rituals are on video. So now we're going to destroy the Saint Archangel Michael, because this seems to be their biggest spiritual protector against Satan. And as you can see, it's even got a little Satan on it. So little Satan wings, little Satan face, got a little Satan on it. So we're going to destroy the Archangel Michael and free Satan. Symbolically, of course. So with that being said, to make it a quick review, the power of belief is a very powerful tool. I'm going to leave it to everybody else to decide whether or not I had a consecrated host. And this is warfare. And within warfare, there is loss, there is gain, there's anticipated loss. And I'd say at this point, the Catholic Church has 2 black eyes. We have 1 black eye, and they are icing one of theirs at this point. And that's where we're at. If there are any other questions, you know how to contact the clergy of the Dakhma of Angra Mainyu. Thank you.